Hello, welcome to Froggy and Friends podcast. This is a podcast put on by frogmansfinds.com. We are your local toy store online. We carry all the latest and greatest of toy goodness for your pleasure. Thanks for your patience. We're putting this up a little bit later than we usually do. It's been a very busy month for me. And Jaden and Tiger have been really gracious, kind of scheduling around my craziness, so I appreciate it. But as I said, I'm joined, as always, by Jaden and Tiger. Can tell which one's Tiger Mask because he's wearing a tiger mask. Lovely as always. Okay, we have a spicy episode in store for you. Almost certain to drop some discussion, criticism of us, maybe. Um, but before that, we'll do some quick store updates, toy news. For us, not much has happened in the last week. We got the kind of latest batch of McFarlane Superman stuff. So we have the uh, I think theatrical, the deluxe theatrical collector's edition or something. Deluxe theatrical edition, because Todd loves creating new versions of his own toys. Um, so yeah, we have the deluxe theatricals of Lex Luthor and Superman himself with Crypto. We got I don't know, I think it was like wave, I don't even know, 30 something of the multiverse, which had Hal Jordan, Cowboy Batman, uh, Cyborg Superman, which I think was like a red platinum, which now I think means it's only going to go to Target. You can only find it in store, but I think these get shipped before Todd made that decision. It also came with Eradicator, but there's only one Eradicator per box. There were two Cyborg, two Cowboy Batman, one Eradicator, and one Hal Jordan. So we got those in. They started shipping out. And then we're going to have pre-orders for Transformers this week. Probably by the time this goes up, there will be some pre-orders for Star Wars Black Series reissues. Mega Man is going up also on Tuesday, Mega Man Wave 3. And then Juggernaut will close out the kind of Gamerverse pre-orders, at least for now, until Walmart's CollectorCon or whatever in July. Yeah, I think that covers our all the toy or store stuff. Um, we can go over toy news real quick. Um, I think this may have gone up last time we were recording, or at least announced.
That guy just looks so funny. I know nothing about the series, despite the fact that I got the little blank body um dude for my half
Mm,
naked Bucky. But
Aaron, yeah.
the design is really funny and I like it.
Yeah, out of context, if you don't know anything about like why it would be designed like that, it's just like Nightmare Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. We're looking at, for audio listeners, we're looking at pictures of the amazing Yamaguchi Titan Beast Titan, or sorry, Attack on Titan Beast Titan. Basically just big monkey guy. Uh, yeah, which is very funny. Um, I don't think I have all the pictures ready for this, but Big Bad Workshop, formerly Fresh Monkey Fiction, or maybe there's still two separate like subtitles. But basically, Big Bad Toy Store's own toy line. Um, they revealed this dude, which is Inspector Bulletproof. I think it's supposed to be a play on Inspector Gadget, except he doesn't have gadgets. He just has a robot tummy. Um, but yeah, I think at Joe Fest this past weekend, they showed off a bunch of other stuff, their own versions of like the Rocketeer and the Tick and other stuff like that. But who knows when any of this stuff will come out.
It looks cool. I mean, I can see a lot of people getting it specifically for either specific parts or that the trench coat and like or just like a cool robot guy.
mhm.
I feel like it's kind of reminiscent of that like space cowboy line that
Yeah.
was happening that was based on a real IP that I just never heard of. I can't remember the name of it.
I know
Um,
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah,
I
it was like the Ranger or something. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. But it has that same kind of vibe, and I feel like those would go great together.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't know if I can find pictures of all the stuff that they showed off this past weekend, but I mean, this is not a toy brand that we are going to include in our later activity, but um, I think their stuff is really, really cool. They make the Monster Force line, which is basically like Call of Duty plus monsters, which is cool. It's like super cool concept. But yeah, I think my only issue with them is that um, yeah, their stuff like all their ETAs are like really far in the future. I think the
Yeah.
next wave of the Monster Force or whatever is like set for the end of this year, early 2026. Um,
Hmm.
oh yeah, and yeah, in the back you can see that like space cowboy guy.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Um, but yeah, and then
That's a nice design.
they have yeah these guys, which are the I think this is wave two. It's like the Dr. Caligula, which is like a brain on a Nazi body. Um, like a zombie kind of like Western looking dude. They have like literal monkeys in suits, which is really cool too. Like I really like that concept if I can find any of their pictures. But yeah, just a bummer that it takes them forever to make their stuff.
I've heard good things about the Operation Monster Force guys. I personally passed because it was one of those situations where it's like, well, this is so far out, and I have no way of knowing whether this is going to be good or not when it does drop. So I missed the vote on those, but maybe when Wave 2 comes along, I'll pick up a couple. It certainly is good for like just army builders and like random monsters for your heroes to fight. It's the possibilities are pretty good with those.
hmm I agree. But yeah, this like I already forgot his name. The Inspector Gadget dude. Fourth quarter
Mhm.
2026. So basically, it's gonna come out 2027. Um, The Tick is third quarter 2026. Let's see. Yeah, like all these designs for their Monster Force stuff is so cool. This is second quarter 2025, which is right now.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
So that's actually not too bad. Yeah, I mean, hopefully they're able to. Oh, I think maybe I was looking at their season three of Monster Force, but yeah, this is the beginning of 2026. But yeah,
mm,
I think their wave two of Monster Force is like there's a lot of bangers.
Are they about like Marvel Legends and articulation?
Yeah, or I would say probably um like GI Joe Classified or like Valaverse would probably be a more one-to-one kind of yeah thing that they'd be similar to.
Standard kind of domestic.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean hopefully this stuff comes
Like
out soon then. I'd definitely love to
yeah,
see more.
looks good.
Yeah. So um yeah, there's that. One of the big news
Oh yeah,
is the Figuarts Cyclops. Some people um can't get away from his thong. I think just the way that Figuarts does their articulation, which I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it. I think like the crotch articulation, the way they do their legs is kind of weird. I personally, it doesn't bother me. But I'm really stoked for this, but I know some people have been turned off by the song.
I think it suits him.
I think it looks great, honestly. Like if you don't really focus that much on it, like it just gives them probably more range to if they do it like that.
I
He
mean,
just wants to show off.
Scott would wear a thong underneath his costume.
Yeah, I did see people saying that he was like too short because the listed height was not comic
Yeah.
accurate or something, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're not gonna be able to stand him next to Wolverine or something." But I don't know. I don't think it'll be that bad, really. Wolverine's always
Well,
hunched
it's
over anyway.
SHF scale. So like if you have him next to your SHF Deadpool, he'll be completely fine. But like if you're putting him next to like a Mezco, then obviously it's going to be incredibly tiny. Like it just depends.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think with like we've talked about it before, but I think scale can be played with in like a fun way. Um,
Hmm.
and so I think for me, if it's like more the proportions than like the height. Like um, with Four Horsemen, their stuff is cool. It's 7 inch, which is yeah, it's like a little bit taller, but their heads are so big, their bodies are so like bulky. They look, they almost look like a different like species of human compared to other 112 figures, just because of the way their bodies look.
Yeah. It also helps that they have like that different genre aspect of it too, where it's like
Hmm.
they have the cosmic legions where they're space guys and sci-fi guys, and then they have the mythic legions which are fantasy guys, and both of those you can make an argument for, well, those are like larger than life genres. You need a larger than life type character.
Yeah, yeah. Which, and then even with that, like I think again, like if you play with like perspective and things like that, like you're able to work around scale. So I don't think it ends up
Hmm.
being too huge of a deal. But yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I think it was maybe it was just this morning. Um, Mayfix showed off a bunch of stuff. They showed off their T1000, which like is insane.
really cool
I
looking.
I passed on the T800, but I like the Terminator 2 is such a classic movie for me, and I love it so much
Hmm.
that I might actually just have to buy this on principle. Just I'm not even a big Mafex fan. Like this is purely because I love the T1000 so much.
Yeah. I mean, he looks so good. He looks so
Oh yeah.
good. Um, yeah, like someone was pointing out that John Connor, which we'll get to, um, is basically like seamless. But even with T1000, like the cut for his knees is like very subtle. It's all kind of hidden in the back. But like having the swappable torso for the bullet holes is so cool. Um, having both hands have that really long like sword finger is also great. Of course, they have, a promo shot of him running, like iconic scene. But yeah, like it's so cool. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, for Kid John Connor, come on, Bobby. Okay, I don't know how I made it big, but yeah, you can't see the cuts in his jeans at all. They
Yeah.
like
That's wild.
Yeah.
total they totally hide it in just like the natural folds of and kind of tears of the jeans. So it looks like he doesn't have any articulation for his knees, but it's just all hidden in the back.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's really, really impressive. I really like this the promo shot of John and the T800 holding hands. Really cool that they come with like the bear hand. Also, but yeah, they really knocked it out of the park with these reveals.
Yeah, they look great.
They got the
Oh,
bloody.
I didn't even see that one.
So I guess it's like
That's
a
crazy.
exclusive to their toy exhibition. That's I assume it's happening right now, but yeah, bloody Homelander. Um,
Him
yeah,
just smiling is so crazy.
That's a good face sculpt.
yeah.
Oh man.
Our frequently mentioned friend of the pod, Star, or someone, maybe it was our friend, other friend Toby. Someone was saying we need the milk version of this
Oh god.
instead of covered
The
in
milk.
blood, covered in milk.
That's terrible.
Um, yeah. Oh, NECA did put up Art the Clown today also, um, for those who celebrate, which looks pretty good, you know. Um,
Yeah.
this
No
I'm
torso
really
articulation.
yeah, no torso. That's
I
true.
I I imagine it's gonna be like their Frankenstein, where it's just like a rubberized chest and they have a little thing underneath it.
Oh,
They've
really?
done that before, and I'm hoping that's the case with this one too. But
I mean, he
Yeah,
looks
that would make
good.
more sense.
The face sculpts look really good. He comes with a lot of
Yeah,
cool
NECA sculpts are
accessories.
always good.
hmm yeah, I'm
I
not a
like that
fan
they
of the
didn't make him
Terrifier
permanently
movies.
bloody.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like Mezco's is all bloody, and this one has no blood.
Yeah.
It's weird, but he does have like a trash bag, which I assume is full of like body parts. Um,
It's full of sharp objects, but yeah,
oh,
you can put all of his hammers and his knives that he comes with in there.
oh gosh, yeah, it's better. I mean, it's still bad, but better than body parts. Um, they also showed off, I think this is also like their exhibition exclusive, but it's a black version of their Night Crusader Batman. Um, if he goes up online at all, I'm gonna snatch him up in an instant. I really like the Night Crusader look, but I wanted it in the black and yellow, and so it's like perfect for me.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
They also did another release of Scarlet Spider um, with a
Oh,
fixed.
the logo is fixed. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of complaints when Mafex first released their Scarlet Spider that the spider logo was too small, which, is fairly accurate. I think there's one comic maybe it was referencing, but most people know it as the bigger logo. So they fixed that. And then they kind of put like I assume is like comic shading on it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like more like on a comic page where it's around his face and on his muscles and stuff to give him like a little more definition or contrast.
Yeah. Which some
Yeah.
people
So
were
good.
saying is kind of a weird look, but I could see it growing on me. Todd also revealed an Elite Edition for Persona 3. Um, kind of his, no, it's not his first foray into anime kind of figures. He's done other stuff before, but yeah, $60. I don't know what this dude's name is. Protagonist.
$60.
Yeah, it's
That
his
is.
best looking anime figure, definitely. All of his other anime figures look way worse. Like this is definitely the best, but still, why would I pay $60 for a McFarlane P3 when I can, get it like from Figma or someone else?
Yeah.
Eh,
Um, in the promo shot we're looking at right now, you can see a giant pin in his wrist.
Yeah.
It's kind of angled, but you can see the giant pins in his elbow. And again, we're kind of starting to touch on our activity for today's episode, but $60 for this, a couple face plates, what looks like is already in the promo shot, like a gummy plastic sword, um, some hands and his pistol. And then you look at Art the Clown, same number of face plates, more accessories for $35, I'm assuming.
$35. Yeah.
It's a real tough sell
Oh
for
man.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can talk more about it. Yeah, and then we have the Wave 3 for the Jada Mega Man figures going up to today when this episode goes up.
I know nothing about Mega Man, but that guy looks goofy as hell, and I love him.
Yeah, Woodman. I mean, when your
Yeah,
name
it's
is
weird.
Woodman, yeah. Um, the I think the interesting thing with this is going to be Wave. So Wave 1 and Wave 2 were $20 per figure. After tariffs and stuff, they went up to 25, I think, depending on where you're buying them. These guys are all considered deluxes. Bubble Man, which is also a really lovely name. Um, Bubble Man and Woodman are both big. I saw them at WonderCon. They're definitely bigger figures. Um, but Mega Man just has that little like hard hat dude. Um, and that's kind of the thing that they say is what makes them deluxe, but they're all going to be $30. So it's a pretty big jump in price. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how people react to that. But I assume not well.
I think I'll get the Mega Man because I really like that head sculpt with the no helmet on.
Mhm.
But I probably won't collect that whole line. I didn't collect the first couple waves, so it's easier for me to just be like, I'll get my one and be done.
Yeah. I there's a name for these guys, but the enemies or whatever, the enemy robots, they look really good. Um, they they articulate fine, um, but they look really goofy and fun, and I think that's their selling point. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm gonna keep some for myself or not yet, but yeah, they're fun. Yeah, I think I mean, that just about does it. The only other thing is, yeah, the new Black Series wave, which is the new Han Solo, new Chewbacca. So just look up Landspeeder Luke, who I think is a neighbor of mine, roughly. He's somewhere in the LA County. But yeah, he put up reviews for the whole wave. Um,
Oh
so
wow.
it's Night Sister Marin from Jedi Fallen, no, Jedi Survivor. Um, Jesus Ezra, and then the zombie Death Trooper, and then the completely new Chewbacca and Han Solo, and then Smee from Skeleton Crew is also kind of bundled along with that. So they're all starting to arrive now. So hoping that we'll get them maybe this week or next week. But yeah, other than that, we were talking about this before we hit
Oh yeah.
record. Mattel put out some really cool like summer exclusives. Um, uh, Hot Wheels exclusive for F1 the movie, that has the fake Apex GP logo, but also has like set of swappable tires, which is really cool. Um, a set for the 50th anniversary of Jaws, which is like the boat, and then Jaws himself in there, and then a set for Back to the Future 40th anniversary, which has the DeLorean and the van that they like stow it in. So some really cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, some cool stuff.
Shall we jump in?
Sounds
All right,
good.
let's do it.
Okay, so for this week, because before we recorded, it was, pretty slow in terms of incoming stuff for the store and for toy news in general. So we decided to rank as many toy companies or toy lines that we could think of. I think I'm using an open source tier maker. Um, the tier maker that I think most people see is like covered in ads, and I'd rather support something small, open source. So we're using that, and I think it's limited to the number of things that we can list. So there's more that we came up with that just wouldn't accept the images anymore. Um, but I will say at the top, we didn't include a lot of like the independent Kickstarter companies like Plunderlings, Sparrow, the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, um, Savage Crucible, stuff like that. Just because I personally I like a lot of this stuff, but I think it's hard to judge them because they're independent companies that are kind of surviving off of Kickstarter support and um, kind of continuing support after the Kickstarter, and so it's hard to say like, oh, like their quality's this or that. Like same with like Biblical Adventures D13 toys. Like I think they're all making really cool stuff, and I don't think it's fair to put them under the same lens that we put on like Marvel Legends or NECA or things like that.
Yep.
All
Yeah, we got a
right,
pretty good spread here, though.
we do. Um, let's start juicy. Let's start with McFarlane Toys. I've talked a lot already. Let's lay out some thoughts. I mean, we don't even have like criteria that we're grading on. Articulation, paint quality, variety, selection. I think those are all things that we can
Point,
consider. But what was that?
I
like the price point.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Value
Yeah.
for your money. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start with some pros of McFarlane Toys.
Yes.
Because it probably will be the smallest. Uh, Probably one of the best value for money domestics. I think it certainly is the cheapest, one of the cheapest domestics out there that is consistently putting out like decent quality. At the very least, sculpts and a little bit of articulation. Or the articulation is probably definitely a con, but
Yeah, I got to give it up
uh,
to their sculpts. Like their sculpts are really good. The figure, looking at it just straight on, it looks good. But after you try to pose it and start messing with it, is when it starts feeling like, oh, this feels kind of cheap and not fun to pose.
Yeah, I do agree. Um, and I agree with you on price to a point. And I think this is the big con for me. I would agree, Tiger. I do think the strongest suit is like their sculpts. Um, and sometimes I think that extends to like their paint quality as well. Um, but I think, especially in recent times, and I think it could be argued that Todd losing the DC license has made him really double down on this. But to me, one of the huge cons for McFarlane Toys is like all the sublines. Like, yeah, if you're getting multiverse, whatever, like those used to be 19.99. I think now they're like $23. Um, but that's multiverse. If you're getting page punches, then it's going to be $27. If you're getting collector's edition, it's going to be $30. If it's theatrical deluxe, it's $37. Like if it's elite edition, it's $60. Like,
yeah,
um, yeah, and that even goes like that doesn't even dip into the platinums that yeah, so many of the platinums now are store exclusive. Literally, like you have to find it in store. Um, and so if you're somewhere like Los Angeles, where there's a ton of collectors here, um, you're just never going to see them. And so the price then becomes like whatever it is on the aftermarket.
yeah,
Yeah, that stinks. And he also sells NFTs. Like we can just go ahead and say how lame that is.
yeah.
Like digital figures or whatever, like being factored into the cost. Like, give me a break, man. You can keep your JPEG, just take a couple bucks off the figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like we should do 7 tiers or 5 tiers?
I kind of like 7 tiers just because we have a lot of these
Yeah,
companies and we can like get really granular in there.
yeah,
Um, so I'm hesitant to put it at like a straight F tier, but maybe like a D.
I'm thinking
yeah,
D, C generously. Like
Yeah,
if I'm
C
being
C to
generous,
D. Yeah.
yeah. That's gonna really piss off people, but I would agree. I think I can. I would feel
We'll be
comfortable.
generous and say C.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with C because I think there are some things
Yeah.
that are good. You know, yeah. So let's define the outliers. I'm gonna go ahead and just put Playarts Kai as an F.
yeah.
We were discussing this a little before the show, and we've all had horrible experiences with Play Art Sky, and it's just from the just everything just doesn't feel the quality that it should when you're paying $100+ for a figure. I have not had a single good experience with them. I feel like I I would be better off buying a knockoff
Hmm.
I mean,
than
they have
the
a good
actual figure
likeness,
itself.
but like $200, like what are they smoking, man? Like
No, no.
that is insane.
Yeah, it's like,
When I pay $150 for a figure, I want it to be like the best figure I've ever had. You know, I bought a Master Chief for like $130, the Thousand Toys Master Chief, and that was incredible. I feel like it was worth it. 100%. But if I'm paying that much for something that's not gonna articulate, it's not gonna really do much else but just sit on the shelf and look fine. Feel like I could buy a statue for that price and get a lot better of a deal.
yeah. I mean, and I guess we could say Playarts Kai covers Bring Arts, just basically Square Enix toys.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like I have the Bring Arts Cloud Strife up on screen right now. You get the Cloud figure, his Buster Sword, and four alternate hands. Not four sets, just four alternate hands for
Yeah,
$120.
That's pretty
yeah,
bare. And it would be different if they were like really nicely articulated or something, but they're not. So,
no,
it's like it doesn't feel great to pose. I don't mind paying premium for something that feels like amazing to mess with and can hit all these different poses, but it can't. It like Jaden said, it just can basically stand there and look cool in one or two poses and be overpriced.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that they break easy. The joints are really loose. Yeah, like, and I feel like that's such a Sony thing, but because Sony and Square Enix were kind of connected, at least in my mind, for so long, it just feels right. Like Sony's notorious for like, oh, you want to, attach this to your PlayStation? We're gonna make the only thing that'll do it, and it's gonna be $100. Like, they never want to
no.
play nice with other people, and I feel like with these Bring Arts, Play Arts, Square Enix is like, yeah, everybody wants Final Fantasy toys. We're the only ones making them, so you're just gonna buy whatever we make, and we're gonna make it really expensive. Which, yeah, just in practice is that's F tier stuff.
Yeah, it can hardly even really get into it because of the price and lack of articulation and solid feeling.
Hmm.
I can't think of a single pro. Like, I guess they're kind of modular because like they do use standard Revoltech joints. So I was saying that earlier as well. So they're kind of modular. Like you can fix them easy. At least if the joint fails, but a sword breaks or something like that, which is most of the time what ends up happening. Uh, you're just out of luck.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just like trying to get a general sense of like if you just wanted the main crew from Final Fantasy VII. Jesus. It's so
Yeah,
expensive.
that's
Oh my
the only thing
gosh.
from them that I'm collecting. I've got the Final Fantasy VII main characters. I'm gonna finish out that line. I might not even ever take them out of the box. I love that game. I love those characters, and like they do look good, but I don't know. I'm probably just gonna hold on to them forever.
Yeah, so you're looking at $600 plus for just the main, the main characters of Final Fantasy VII with what is what does Aerith come with? Yeah, Aerith just comes
Yeah,
with
Oh
her
yeah.
stick and hands.
yep. They're not really coming with anything.
Yeah, it's rough. Okay, I think,
Like
yeah,
it could definitely be higher, but with the price and everything, you just can't justify it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Um,
We go for the
SS.
opposite side of the spectrum now. Yeah.
Yes. I know
Okay. All right.
Jaden.
I was gonna. That's good that you did it and not me. So that.
I know Jaden is gonna go to bat to put Revoltech. We'll just say Revoltech and Amazing Yamaguchi up at SS tier, top tier. I would like to hear your defense, and I'll go ahead and throw the most common criticism is that they look weird to you. So I'll put that all in your court, Jaden.
Well, I will concede that they take some effort, but like it's and it is uh stylized to those who like to mess around with their figures and pose them up in basically any pose that they want to, which is I I think is everybody. Like, who doesn't want to put a figure in literally any single pose that you can put a figure in? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like all about the articulation, but they have hands down the best articulation out of any single figure out there. A relatively good price point for imports. They're usually like $75, to maybe like $100 for their bigger figures. Um, generally, and they come with a ton of accessories. Not only a
Hmm.
ton of accessories, but also incredibly modular. Like we were saying before with the other Revoltech powered lines. Absolutely insane modularity. If I want to give, like I had going back to my Lucky here, it's from the original cap. The original Captain America, so I didn't have to buy the deluxe version of Bucky to get his shield. So I didn't. It was all set. I didn't. Yes, that's ridiculous.
Hmm.
For the audio listeners, Frogman just pulled up the Deadpool 2.5 version, and there's like I don't know 50 accessories on screen. Like
Yeah,
it's
That's about the same price as that Cloud
insane.
figure,
yeah,
that Bring Arts
and
Cloud.
Oh well, and that's Big Bad Toy Store too. If you were to buy this on AmiAmi, and pay for
Yeah.
shipping yourself and all that stuff, it would probably cut down about $20-$30 off the price.
easily, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it would
Big
be more
Bad
like
is,
100, 105, 110, maybe at most.
yeah.
If you're looking at that, and it would probably come with if you bought it off somewhere like Hobby Genki where you get the extra head,
Hmm.
maybe like 115, and you get the extra little head.
Yeah. I'll switch it to US pricing, but yeah, I mean, Big Bad is. I'll just put it out there. They're terrible price gougers. You're usually
Can't
going to
fix
get the
them.
worst deal. Well, not the worst, but you're usually not going to get the best deal if you're shopping with Big Bad. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's the original 2.0 for $56,
Hmm.
which is such a great price. Obviously, you're importing it, so you're going to pay $20 shipping, and more like $75, which is what we were saying before is usual price.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
you just get so much. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And
I could
all
go
of
on
those
a.
accessories, all that articulation in one bundle. Now, I will say, a lot of people like in the toy photography server will say like I don't like the Gucci style. I don't like his stylized look or version. And yeah, I think some people are going to be turned off by how he stylizes certain figures or makes them look, but like if you do like that style, it's just like, oh, hook that straight into my veins. Like give me more of
Hmm.
that.
Exactly.
I love how all this stuff looks. That new Isekai Harley looks
Yes.
amazing.
Oh yeah. And I think that's the thing. Like, I think with most toy brands, you see them kind of like iterating and improving as they make stuff. Um, like with Marvel Legends, I think the thing that they're on right now is all pinless and hyper articulated, which is great. I think that appeals to at least the three of us. The
Mhm.
Black Series, their thing has been they're trying to iterate more and more on um, like seamless look, which really can hinder articulation. But like that's the thing that they're going for. They want it to look as close to the movie as possible without without seeing the joints and stuff. Um, that's fine. And you can totally see, which is also really cool. Like Yamaguchi's an actual person, um, and you can see that he's been changing the way he's designing and sculpting these figures based off of that feedback from collectors. Like, oh, this is kind of hyper stylized. Um, and yeah, I think that Harley is a really good example. I mean, a lot of the My Hero Academia stuff is a good example as well. Granted, some other sculptors are making some of the My Hero Academia line, but um, yeah, a lot of it, like that stuff that he himself has sculpted, is super like anime accurate. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I really feel like he's been making that effort to improve in that regard.
Yeah,
Just in
I'm always
general
looking
too,
forward
because
to
like
it.
just leaps and bounds. I always like to point to Amazing Yamaguchi and Yamaguchi Katsuhisa in general as like one of the strongest uh listeners of the community. Like he has changed so much and improved so much in such a short amount of time because this is a rather young line.
Hmm.
There was the Kyoto line before, and he sculpted for other Kyoto lines. But once he got his own, that was like what 2019, 2018, something like that. So he's really only been doing this on his own for 7, 8 years now, and that's pretty young in the lifetime of one of these premium companies. And he's just he's killed it. I mean, he's just improved so much.
Hmm. And kind of the unfortunate thing is, because it's been improving and becoming more mainstream. I remember when I first started collecting and looking at imports, Jaden would tell me like, "Oh yeah, like this Yamaguchi just came out. Like you pick it up whenever, like it'll still be there." But now, because they're getting more and more popular, like once it releases, it's gone. The only Yeah, I mean, I think the only criticism I have, or the sucky thing, is like these like store exclusive accessories, usually like a faceplate or
Oh
something.
yeah,
That sucks. If you're in, Ja- I mean, if you're in Japan, it's not that big of a deal. You just go to the Revoltech store, the Kyoto store. But yeah, for us in the States, Hobby Genki will charge an additional $20-$30 for that faceplate because they're like, well, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah,
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the only downside. Um, all right. Um, Tiger, why don't you pick a company?
let's do another outlier, one that should be pretty easy, like Super 7. I feel like that's gonna be pretty low tier. The they don't look amazing. They don't pose well. I've never seen one that I was just like, damn, I really need one of those.
I've had a
Yeah.
couple. There's been like Again, it's all musicians where they have those the Czarface, which was really good, the
Yeah, those are
Papa
cool.
Emeritus, where like you don't need to put them in any action poses. They're not going to be like know superheroes doing crazy stuff. It's just like they look cool. Like the source material, they're a band, so at most they're going to be like singing or just like standing there. And that's it. Like, but they are still, 55 bucks a pop. Like, it's a lot for the, you know, lack of articulation that you get and the lack of sculpt as well. It's fine for something like Czarface, where he's just, he's supposed to have, he's just like a old style comic book looking, Ultron clone. But
Hmm.
Yeah, the music ones are definitely some of their best, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, what I have on screen right now is like this little girl from Thundercats with a surfboard, and she's 65 bucks.
yeah.
Definitely pricey.
Um, yeah, and I mean, I think I think you're right, Jaden. It does seem like depending on the line, it can be a kind of a better or worse. Like some of I've heard some of the turtle stuff can be pretty solid. Um, their kaiju stuff, like their Godzilla stuff, looks pretty good. It's also really pricey. Um, but I think for some, it's their go-to because it's still not as expensive as Monster Arts, which is
And
wildly
it's another
expensive.
thing where like you don't need Godzilla to do a ton. You don't need him to do a backflip. You can just turn him sideways and do that little thing he does. And that's it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Super 7 would be good for people who aren't really concerned that much about hitting all these poses or taking wild toy photos. They just want to kind of have it on their shelf or have a good little representation of a character that they like. I definitely don't think that they're the worst, but I've never really seen anything that's just like, geez, I really need to get on that.
Hmm.
yeah.
They've made like a lot of just really wild decisions. Um, like, yeah, I mean, their reaction line in general, $20 for a vintage
Yeah.
5 point of articulation figure is insane to me.
Mm.
They have Reaction Plus, which is just for the GI Joes, which are O-rings, but like, um, yeah, was it? My eyes are bad. So it's $60 for three. So, they've kept the O-rings at $20 each, but still, um, yeah, it's like a lot of their stuff is hard to justify
It
the price.
it also just feels like they're, especially with the GI Joe stuff, and like a little bit with the Power Rangers, not a lot, especially because Lightning Collection is out now. But GI Joe specifically, where they put out this O-ring collection because it's the only one that's been in existence since the original. And it feels kind of like they're like, well, you could pay the aftermarket prices on the original 80s line, and with upgraded O-rings, but they're still like horrible quality, and it's gonna be, maybe it'll be $20, maybe it'll be $120. Or you could buy ours for $20. And
Yeah.
even though that's exceedingly expensive for what you're getting, it's still less than the aftermarket prices. And it kind of feels predatory in that way,
Hmm.
like they're just kind of uh going after the vintage market collectors,
Oh,
or
yeah.
saying, "Well, that's a good deal because I can finally get what I wanted for less than $100." But at the same time, it's just
Yep.
yeah,
I mean, even I think you could argue, like, with even some of the music figures, I mean, I think they are a little bit more targeted towards like level-headed collectors, but still, it's like it does feel like they're trying to take advantage of nerds or like nerd culture. And it's like, oh, like you're a nerd. Here, this is a cool thing. Give us money.
They certainly are the only ones. Well, Tom McFarlane did a couple of the band ones, but they certainly are like a very rare, exclusive, like, uh, but they're still very popular bands out there that they're covering that nobody has action figures for, and
Yeah,
like you're either going to get a pop or those, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And I mean, for our watchers, our visual watchers, I was looking through the Super 7 Simpsons line because, like, yeah, one of the huge criticisms is like they didn't make just normal versions of the family members.
yeah,
Um,
I got like themed versions.
yeah, it's like cool, having like Duffman, like, cool, funny character. But like the fact that like they were making all these deep cuts and not the first wave wasn't just like Homer, Bart, Marge, Lisa, Maggie. Like it's just I just don't like it doesn't it baffles me.
yeah.
Um it just doesn't make sense. All right, so where do we feel like they land?
I would say D, not completely void of value, but like also not much to glean off of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. That's what I was thinking too. Um we've used almost all of our time, so I think this is going to be a multi-episode thing. We'll do maybe less toy news next week and just jump straight in. Um, Jaden, you want to pick the
Yeah,
last one
on
to talk
project.
about?
I'm gonna pick one that I think is pretty high up there. Then on the other opposite end of the spectrum, actually, I was gonna go 3-0.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were gonna go Mezco. Um,
Yeah,
where? Oh yeah. Okay. All right. 3-0. Lay it on
I
us.
I think these guys. There's honestly not a lot I can say in terms of cons to these guys. They're they're die cast, so they're big, they're heavy, they're a little bit larger than 112 scale. Even though they claim to be 112 scale, that's another like thing with we'll see that when we get to Storm collectibles as well. Um, s- uh, Absolutely, 100% gorgeous figures though, where like little pieces move too that you wouldn't think would move, and like all sorts of crazy details, crazy paint jobs. The way that they make like little flaps that are plastic instead of die cast, painted the exact same way that they're able to get the metal to shine, and it looks so flawless. And then on top of that, getting it to move
Mm-hmm.
and articulate to levels that you wouldn't think a figure that pretty would be able to move. Like it's and all of it hidden. It's all like seamless. It's
Mm-hmm.
all completely seamless. Like it's so good. The only thing that like is exempt from this is their like bloodshot, which he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's not completely seamless. He has like a diaphragm joint there, and some like Mafex style joints for the arms and knees. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, their DLX line though is insane. From the whether that be the DLX Transformers to the DLX Infinity Saga Marvel characters, but they're really something, and some of my favorite out there. It's really incredible, and not only that, but a lot of their figures also have light up features, which is at a whole other level of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and while I wouldn't say they're specifically perfect, because I think they do. Again, there is something to be said for not having everything be completely digest and completely heavy, so that when it falls over, it knocks everything over around it.
Mm-hmm.
And having it be completely seamless. Where if they added a couple more seams, they could get even greater range. But those are such those are like nitpicks at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, they're gorgeous. Have you tried one before, Tiger?
I haven't. I don't have any of them. 3-0, that used to be like 3A, right? Like that's like the remnants of that company.
I don't know.
Um,
Well, yeah, they're
was-
the same company, 3-0. The way that I have like wrapped my brain around this, I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but like I keep seeing because they are still 3A is still putting stuff out there, but mostly in 1/6 scale. So in my brain, that's like the
Mm,
1/6 scale company, and then 3-0 is the 1/12 scale company.
yeah,
But also again, like this guy is actually closer to 1/12 scale, but the Iron Man figures, the Infinity Saga characters are
mm,
uh a little bigger than the 1/12.
yeah.
yeah. I think
The
what had happened was that Ashley Wood wanted to do his own company or focus more on 1/6, so went on to do um, Underverse from 3A, and they're still putting out a lot of 1/6 scale figures, like really cool stuff, really, really great designs, but also really pricey since it's 1/6. I really wish that they'd start making more of that stuff, but I knew that they were like somewhat related to 3-0, but it's really cool that 3-0 is putting out like really nice die-cast stuff because I'd love to mess with posing one. I've never really messed with like a figure like that before.
Oh man, if you can get your hands on any one of the Iron Man figures, it's worth it. Whatever your favorite Iron Man armor is, they're probably going to make it if they haven't already. They show no signs of stopping. There's a black and gold one that's coming out that's like a 1 in 500 pieces
mm,
or something, and I was like, I have to get that. I need it, so
gosh,
pre-ordered that.
yeah, they're so
I
cool.
It's incredible, and I'm a sucker for all the amazing War Machine and Iron Man um, armors out there, and not to mention their Hulkbusters, like what 12 inches, 13 inches tall,
Yeah, you showed them
Yeah.
off on
and
here before as well.
he's so good. He's so heavy, but so good, and he moves so well. Like that's the huge thing is that like you have the SHF and the Hasbro and the all these great looking Hulkbuster armors, but they just can't move all that well because they're big guys. But I don't know how they do it. They packed in so much articulation into that thing. Yeah,
Yeah, their War Machine
incredible.
looks so good. I
Yeah.
think right now that just recently went up is this like hot rod version of
Oh
the
yeah.
Mark 22, which is kind of like unique stylized Guy Fieri kind of approach, but I think it looks super cool. Um, yeah, and then I also really like Sleep Mode Optimus Prime, which is basically just like dead as hell. But it's okay, kids. He's just asleep. It's sleep mode.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, their figures feel so good in hand. The MDLX Transformers line is more in scale with like 112. Um, and yeah, like all the
Well,
flaps.
it's like they're like 7, 8 inches tall, or 6 to 8 inches tall,
Hmm.
depending on the characters. But if you want the ones that are like
That's
scaled
true.
with
Yeah,
112, so
yeah,
they're like 2-story buildings tall.
yeah,
The DLX ones are the way to go.
yeah, that's true. If you were to pretend that all Transformers were normal size with everything else, then yeah, it's the MDLX. Um, but yeah, like all the flaps are on like little ball joints. Stuff will pop off when you're articulating, but it's just to get out of the way, it doesn't break. Um, yeah, and they're really, really, really solid. I think the only thing is that they're pricey, but I mean that's with pretty much any of the import lines that we have on our list. Um, yeah, it's just cost prohibitive because I would like to get so many that I can't afford them.
Mhm.
But yeah, now I want to maybe go pick up an Iron Man armor or a War Machine, depending on what I can find.
I highly recommend the Iron Patriot. It's so good.
Yeah, at
Uh,
least it seems like, they are fun to pose and stuff. This is like what I was saying about the other figures. Like, why would you want to pay that much for a figure that's not even fun to like hold or mess with? Like, at least you can
Exactly.
move it around and put it in cool poses and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out on the next like 3-0 design that I want to check out. Maybe grab one.
yeah. All right. Are they S or SS?
I would
Double
say
S.
safely S. I think just because of the little bit of lack of articulation, and the cost, I think they
I would say probably
quite get it.
the maybe the lack of choice also. Like, I mean, I think they're making a ton of Transformers now, but I would like to like this. I would like to have even more selection in terms of like characters and stuff. Be nice to see just because they're great figures. So it'd be nice to get versions of a bunch of different characters.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Cool. All right. We got through 5 companies. So maybe this will be a labor of love over the next couple episodes. But it's really fun. It's really fun to kind of dig into each of these.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That will wrap us up for this week. We'll pick this up again next week. We'll see what the week has in store for us. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to sound off in the comments below. If you're on YouTube, tell us that we're full of garbage.
Yeah.
Um, love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, all right. This has been Froggy and Friends. I am Froggy. They are my friends. Thanks for joining us at the pond, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Later.